Welcome back to the Wonder Cat channel, where we discuss wonder, cats, and questionable win conditions. Today we sadly need to talk about a very common occurrence that is happening in our competitive scene, ruining the lives of many. What occurrence is this, you may ask? Well, it's not often talked about, but I've done the research, read the studies, I made the studies, trust me, and 80% of players, that's right, 8 out of 10 players have experienced blue balls at least once in their Digimon careers. The unfortunate mishap rears itself when they sit down to start their round, only to realize they're about to watch Sakuyamon combo out on turn 3 and play with themselves for the next 5 minutes, bringing on that feeling that we have just witnessed the modern Yu-Gi-Oh format in our beloved game. Symptoms include, but are not limited to, a disgusting taste in your mouth, overflowing salt towards your opponent, realizing your opponent is playing Solitaire, not Digimon, and the sudden urge to drop from the event to get home early. Blue balls can ruin a night, and despite its prevalence in the TCG community, the wider audience responds with just build a better deck, just get good scrub, and the old faithful just draw thee out. Sufferers of blue balls will often slink away into their caves and refuse to attend official sanctioned tournaments, again scared of experiencing such trauma. This deck will look to swarm the board with multiple free on-play effects and just out-aggro the opponent. At the same time, this deck will literally blue ball the opponent, stripping their sources away, bottom decking their board state, or just straight up deleting it. But fear not, dear viewer, because today we do not suffer from the blue balls, because today we weaponize them. Welcome to blue balls. Welcome to blue base mamemon, folks. Blue base mamemon came about from a handful of ideas, but really found its footing in the printing of EX9's Metal Mamemon, a really sick looking super rare, a blue-black 7 cost with reduction on play stapled on if you trash a Cyborg or version 2 card from your hand. When played Digivolving, throw a card from your trash underneath it face down, then strip any materials from your opponent's Digimon equal to the number of materials under Metal Mamemon, has to be face down. Then bottom deck a Digimon with 0 materials. This card oozes potential, and I knew that I wanted to build around with it, and I could build around it with some work put in. The real reason I decided to create this list with a blue base was primarily for the consistency of Metal Mamemon's effect, and because EX9 Sunamon always works well with it. During your turn, when a face down card is placed underneath your Digimon, you can Digivolve into a Vol.2 trait Digimon with its cost reduced by 1. This helps save on memory, and because we play Vol.2 trait mons all the way up to 5, it's the most consistent egg we have access to. With that in mind, we're going to play the 4, don't need the 5th egg to scramble them together. So we may as well follow up with our first of the rookies, EX9 Gabumon. On play, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add a DM trait, then throw a version 2 card underneath it face down. If it's, it's a decent card to dig for. It can add our DM traits to hand, which is great, but considering we don't have the egg under this when we trigger its on play, we aren't getting crazy value out of it. At the same time, Gabumon is a blue level 3 Digimon in version 2, so not only can we trash it for Metal Mamemons on play to reduce its cost, but it also gives us incredibly useful jamming inherited, which makes it worth playing. Jamming for blue is essential since it more or less removes the danger of swinging into high DP Digimon security, which in turn removes your opponent's hopes that your swings will be punished. Next in the level 3 lineup, 4 copies of EX9 Gizamon. Now this little fella is going to put work in because he does not skip training day. Pun intended. Your average level 3 blue Digimon has training which can be used in the breeding area, and inherited when attacking, trash the bottom Digivolution card of one of your opponent's Digimon. Since we want to try to reduce our opponent's stack size and control the board, Gizamon helps set up our later Metal Mamemon's bottom decking and relieves pressure by removing problematic inheriteds from your opponent's stack. Lastly, our go-between, 4 copies of Betamon, another one of my favorite Digimon, a fishy friend that borrows jamming from Gabumon whilst borrowing training from Gizamon. These 3 rookies together give us a solid blue base that is both on theme for what the deck wants to do and gives us ultimate flexibility in digivolving up in our DM traits. But before going into our level 4s, we're going to have to discuss our tamer package first, because they are super relevant for the deck, both in generating value and making sure our opponents suffer from the aforementioned blue balls. Starting off with our very on-theme Analog Youth, a 3-cost white tamer. Start of main, place a card from your hand face down under one of your Digimon as a material. During your turn, when a face down card is added to your Digimon, suspend Analog Youth, gain a memory. Then if you have 7 or fewer cards in hand, draw 1. Seems pretty good. During your opponent's turn, all of your Digimon with face down materials gain a reboot. So this is just a generically good DM traded tamer. It combos really well with our egg, since we can push out a Betamon from raising using an Analog Youth, throw a card underneath him, him, getting a memory, drawing a card, hopefully. At the same time, our egg is going to trigger, allowing us to digivolve up to a level 4 version 2 trait mon for 1 less, essentially making him free. The reboot added on is that it's really sweet for our deck, since your opponent usually wants to respond to our attackers by being able to swing back at our suspended Digimon. Not going to happen with reboot. Analog Youth will sit comfortably at a 2 of. We could play the third, but we needed to make room for our other support pieces, so he gets the cut there. Next, continuing on with ruining our opponent's day, 2 copies of BT1 Mat, a 4-cost memory setup. Whenever you play a blue Digimon, suspend him, trash the bottom material from your opponent's Digimon. This is another reason why we wanted to play blue base, because we can easily benefit off of having this on board, playing a Gabumon, digging for our own resources, and stripping our opponents. Slowly but surely, watch the salt levels rise. It's also kind of necessary to run at least a couple memory setters, and this mat follows perfectly with what we want the deck to do. Our last tamer and combos particularly well with our previously discussed map, 2 copies of BT14 Joe. On play, trash any one material from your opponent's Digimon, and during your turn, when a material is trashed from your opponent's Digimon, suspend Joe to gain a memory. So if he is played on a turn there is a valid target, he is more or less a 2-cost tamer that will strip a material, and every turn afterwards will just straight up grant you a memory for making your opponent's suffering continue. With the mat on board, we can play a blue Digimon, suspend mat, trash their bottom material, then suspend Joe and gain a memory. Value on top of value. These blue boys are here to make sure your opponent is ready for the absolute shellacking that is about to commence. But continuing on with our Digimon line though, a playset of EX9 Garuru, a 5-cost 5k Digi for 2 on blue, or any of our level 3 with a DM trait, which isn't relevant here since we're only playing blue. On play and when digivolving, put a card from your hand face down underneath it. If you do, trash any materials from your opponent's Digimon equal to the number of face down materials Garurumon has. So on play, he's going to strip 1, which will trigger our Joe at least, making him a 4-cost. If we push up a Giza or Betamon from raising, assuming it had trained last turn, then Digi into Garuru, it'll be able to strip 2 materials of your choice. This thing being able to match stripping equal to its face down materials really helps push the card, and if we don't have Gabumon or Betamon underneath for jamming, don't you worry, because it also has jamming for an inherited, meaning we don't miss out on jamming if digivolving on Gizamon. Our next level 4, the full playset of EX9 Monochromon, a black level 4 with training, 4 play cost, 4k, Digi for 2 from a black level 3 or 2 on a DM trait, which is now relevant. On play or when attacking, throw a card underneath it, face down. If you do, Digi 1. So if we don't want to stress out our opponent's mental by ripping apart their inheritance, we can always send them back a turn with Monochromon. He's also a great level 4 to include in this list because he's a DM trait Digimon. He's a black level 4, which is great because he helps our mamemons, being level 5 black Digimon. His effect being on play means that any potential free playing effects gives us even more value. Monochromon also gives us blocker as an inherited, which combos well with our analog youth, giving our Digimon with face down materials reboot, meaning we can swing aggressively with jamming, reboot, and still block. Solid card, can't play less than the 4. Our last level 4, and something that could be both spicy and a little horrible, 1 copy of Thundermon. This card just overall looks kind of bad, but it ticks enough boxes that we can play the 1. It's a 4-cost 6k body, which is higher than average for DP. Won't be able to Digi on any of our level 3s, which seems somewhat counterproductive to play. Funnily enough, because our deck relies so heavily on putting cards from our hand face down, he's actually an ideal target for these effects and off of training. At the same time, he is treated as having the name Mamemon, which in turn gives us some really cool combo potential with the deck's support option Senbon Dokkan. A hefty 9-cost black option. When played, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, then play up to 15 costs worth of Mamemon Digimon without paying their costs, then delete a 6 cost or less Digimon from your opponent for each Mamemon you play off this effect. Trash whatever cards you don't play. So by paying 9 memory for an option seems rough, especially early game. Like, let's be real, if you see a couple of these early, yeah. But let's consider, this allows us to play 2 metal Mamemons, equaling 14 memory worth of value, can still delete up to 12 play cost, or 2 instances of 6, worth of your opponent's Digimon as well, meaning there's a 9 memory investment for a potential 26 memory worth of value your way. It's super high rolly, and this is ignoring the fact we could still bottom deck 2 potential Digimon your opponent controls off these 2 metal Mamemon. This card has a ton of potential in the list though, since we play multiple level 5 mamemons, even a couple of level 6s. The best part about this card, it's even a security bomb, since even if it's hitting security, we just activate its main effect, potentially being able to play 2 more mamemon bodies and blowing up a few cheap Digimon in your opponent's turn. The card is absolutely amazing, but since we play blue base, we can't rely on just slamming a rooking down and playing this. It's far too expensive to play the full playset. 3 seems like a great number to settle on. I'm not going to go super into our combinations on this card right now. I'll quickly go over them at the end just to show you how crazy its variance is. We reach our level 5s though. We have already previously discussed our Metal Mamemon, the Blue Ball Wonder himself. Between our early game consisting of trashing our opponent's Digivolution cards, swinging aggressively with jamming, Metal ties it all together in a neat bow with his ability to bottom deck what we have crippled. Our opponent spends all their lovely memory on trying to build a big stack, we say no. Our opponent wants to slam a Medi down on board, we say no. Metal Mamemon is a level 5 that will digi on top of our other level 5 Mames for only 1, or for free if we manage to trigger our eggs inherited. We play the playset because why give our opponents blue balls if we're not going to play the blue ball himself? We have previously gone over him a little, so we shan't linger on him too long. We must move on to the supporting cast. 2 copies of BT11's Mamemon because he's just an absolute champion. Digi for 3 on our black level 4s, monochrome on. When played or on Digivolve, reveal the top 5 cards of your deck. Play a Tamer card with play cost 4 or less for free. Throw the rest of the cards back on top or bottom of your deck in any order. So this card has slowly been pinched down to 2 copies because of its inability to Digivolve from Garurumon. Sadly, as much as it is a support piece, stack consistency is just as important, so he gets the cut instead. He's great, able to be played all 3 of our Tamers off of for free, which is really awesome, and being a 7-cost Mamemon again grants us some nutty potential value if being played off Senbon. Inherited during your turn, whenever an effect plays one of your Digimon, give one of your Digimon blocker until the end of your opponent's next turn. Having multiple sources of blocker between this Inherited and Monochromon is much appreciated, though unlikely to come up all that often since he's not going to be the prime level 5 Digimon to Digivolve into. Our last level 5 EX9 Mamemon, you probably saw it coming. As usual, it's a 7 cost, 7k body, black, digi for 3 on black or 3 on our DMs, i.e. our Garuru. Man has collision, so we'll force our opponent to block when attacking with him. On play or when digivolving, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, then play a 4 cost DM trait for free, increasing the play cost maximum by 1 for every face down material under Mamemon. So this Mamemon will play out all of our level 3s, which in turn allows us to dig further with Gabu. It can also play out Monochromon, which in turn allows us to de-digi 1. If we are digivolving him from a big stack, he can play a Garurumon with 1 face down material under him, or a Metal Mamemon with 3 materials, or another copy of himself, which again allows us to run it back and play another full cost or lower. EX9 Mame is a huge board extender and just solid value engine, and you never feel bad playing him. It's obvious we're going to play the 4 off. His value doesn't end here though, since his Inherited is an awesome just when attacking once per turn D-Digi 1. This again is like the second side to our stripping engine. Being able to strip level 4s from a level 5 to swing D-Digi their level 5 to a level 3, pretty good tempo. If you have this under a Metal Mame as a Digivolve, so we can strip a bunch from their stack, bottom deck it if we can, and if we can't, reduce their threat to a little level 3. Our level 6s consist of 2 copies of Puppet Ace. Because the card is good, he fits our game plan perfectly. Another 7 costs on play when digivolving, D-Digi 2, then bottom deck a suspended Digimon. Because Metal Mamemon is a great tempo card, but not a true win condition, we can go from Mame into Metal Mame for 1, then blasting into Puppet or digivolving into it for 4, pressuring your opponent's board state even more. I've already praised Puppetmon for being a great tech card into this meta full of when attacking style decks in other lists, giving us a perfect ace that follows what the deck wants to do. Man has Reboot, and one of the scariest parts about swinging with this particular card was always the fact that we gamble hitting other aces or level 7s in security. He's an ideal blocker, not a great aggressive swinger. We want to swing with Puppet to abuse its Reboot so we can get in that free attack and still block with it, but the threat of Puppet dying and losing us 4 memory on a swing sucks. But because of our lovely blue base, we have plenty of jamming, which means we can swing safely with our favorite ace, not having to worry about having the turn pass over. Other level 6, the playset of Prince Mamemon, an uncommon as our Mamemon top end, who would have thought? A huge 11 cost 11k on play when digivolving. Reveal the top 3 cards of the deck, play a 10 cost or less Mamemon revealed for free, trash the rest. All turns, all your Digimon with Mamemon in its names gain jamming and Reboot. So Prince Mamemon will help create more aggressive swings on all our newly played mamemons that aren't being raised from big stacks. It's able to play any mamemon in the list except for itself, meaning it can play EX9 Mame, which in turn can play out more Digimon for us. The swarming ability for this deck can really put your opponent on a clock, and with all our previous control effects, one solid pop-off turn and a little bit of luck is all you need to win the game. Our last Digimon though, and I have previously mentioned him in another list, a copy of Omnimon Sword. Like, he's so much fun to play, man. Come on. He's especially expensive to digi into, 6, since we don't run any kind of reduction for him, but the deck is like built for the guy. We may as well play him, you know? A 15k body, when digivolving, trash 3 from the top of your deck, then play 2 purple or black, 8 play cost or less for free. This again will hit all our Mamemon except Prince Mamemon, and is basically our 4th copy of Senbon, but on a Digimon. You could look at it as just a bit more of a niche version of Senbon, but it's still kind of cheaper. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool. It's cool since if we ever get to trigger his attacking by returning a level 6 material under it to your hand, delete a play cost, 12 play cost or less, unsuspended Digimon your opponent controls. We've probably played a Mamemon off of these Wart ETB, which means we can digi back into our Prince Mamemon to trigger its on-play when digivolving effect to play another 10 cost or less Mamemon from the top 3 cards of your deck again for free. Like, whoa, man, I can't. Like, this deck goes so wide. We only have 1 card in the deck left to discuss. That's 3 copies of Meat. Meat is basically your Egg Inherited, but on steroids. A 2-cost red option, ignoring your color, necessary, required, as long as you control DM trait. When played, draw 1. On delay, throw a face-down card from your hand under a Digimon you control. It can digivolve into a DM trait for 2 less. It works with pretty much the entire deck outside our major top end, which isn't all that bad, since by the time we get there, we've swarmed the board, it's done its job. We more or less want to use this on our level 3 and 4s to build up faster, so it's a good 2-cost option to play early. Using Meat, we can free digi into Garuru, being able to trash at least 2 materials from your opponent's Digimon. The card is just solid overall, but because of its inability to work with our top end, it's fine sitting at 3 copies. Before wrapping up, I said I'd like to go into explaining all our potential Senbon flips. The craziest one off the top of my head is probably EX9 Mame, like 2 of them. It allows us to go into double Monochromon with some, crazy luck, which is a D-Digi2 as well. That's 4 bodies, D-Digi2. Yuck. We have Prince Mamemon, the only card in the deck that can play it. Senbon being able to play Prince Mame, and Thundermon, which gets us the full 15 play cost value, and then being able to play another 10 cost or less Mamemon off of Prince's ETB. You have Thundermon and any level 5 Mame with BT11 Mamemon gives you dig potential for another free tamer. You've got Thundermon and Metal Mame stripping a source and bottom decking something. You've got Thundermon and EX9 Mame playing a potential level 3 or 4 outside of Garurumon, of course. We have double BT11 Mamemon digging 5 cards each for a free tamer, giving us 2, potentially adding a Joe, which on play trashes a material, in turn granting us a memory back. BT11 Mamemon also allows us to sculpt the top of our deck, which works perfectly if we can digi into Prince Mame. We have double EX9 Metal Mamemon being able to trash 1 material on the first, then trash a second material and bottom deck a target with the second metal, or just bottom deck 2 Digimon with no materials. Like, oh my god. You have EX9 Mame and Metal Mame, sequence them right. You have the potential to play a Monochromon off Mame to de-digi something, then strip a source with metal and spin the target to the bottom of the deck. Like, that's 8 variations alone. All of them solid in their own way, shows the true beauty of Mamemon costing 7 each outside of Thundermon. The identity of the deck is very much like the blue ball man himself, Metal Mamemon. We want to go wide, we want to strip the opponent, give them blue balls, punish them for dressing down, leave them wanting more. The deck is so cool, ticks multiple boxes, it's fun, it's aggro, it controls the board at the same time. It's a really cool archetype, you don't see all that often. The DM trait gave us the deck a sweet base that allows you to play much more aggressively with your Mamemons. The deck is going to set you back around 35 USD, pretty damn cheap. It's only 50 Australian. If you really want to keep things lean and clean, cut Zwart entirely, play a single copy of Bancho Mamemon. The card is super cool, has more board spam, Sec 1 stapled onto it, has no on-play, so we lose quite a bit of value on it if played by Senbon. It also doesn't play Prince, which kind of sucks. I love the card thematically. I love all the Bancho line, to be honest. I just don't think it's worth playing, though. Best part about this list, 33 cards in the list are DM trait, which means it's Regulation Event Volume 2 legal. Let's go, man. deck list up on the screen. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. They say when you want to see change, you become part of the solution. I'd rather make my opponents suffer. Let's be part of the problem. Metal Mamemon is my blue ball boy, and he is just the coolest thing to have come out of EX9. Embrace the wacky, build the untraditional, always outbuild your opponent. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and sub. Comment down below if you've suffered from the conditions this deck looks to create, or if you enjoy inflicting them upon others. And I will see you in the next Wondercat channel video. Ta-ta.